Shalom, friends! Welcome to Orange Socks, a podcast celebrating Jewish creativity. I'm your host, Yitzchok Moully, inviting you to join me in exploring the soul of Jewish expression. Shalom, friends! Welcome to the Orange Socks podcast. And today I have on with me a real treat for you, Alejandro Glatt. Alejandro, where are you coming in from? You're all over the world. You're all over the place. Where are you joining me from?
Hi, Yitzchok. Thank you for having me in your amazing podcast where I'm a huge fan. I'm right now from Mexico City, where I was born, actually in my studio and parents' home. And yeah, very, very excited to be part of this show. I'm just came from traveling. I'm traveling again in 2 days, but right now I'm in home base.
Home base. If this is your studio, that looks very clean. You must have a corner that's just this big enough to to have a beautiful, clean background behind you.
Exactly, yeah. My work, as you know, it's very all over the place. I work with many materials, collage, all kinds of stuff. So I'm like keeping it on a very good corner, as you said.
I like it. I like it a lot. So, Alejandro, you have such energy. I met you in Art Basel 2024, and so much going on. So, take us on a journey with you. Give it a little bit of background. You're born in Mexico City, a Jewish artist in Mexico City. There's a vibrant Jewish community that I'm sure a lot of people don't know about. So give us a little bit of your Judaic background as well as your creative background in Mexico City.
Amazing. So, my name is Alejandro Glatt. I was born in a Jewish family in Mexico City. My fourth grandparents were already born in Mexico. So they came between the first and the second war to Mexico, and I actually in 2 weeks we celebrate from the JCC that we have in Mexico, the Deportivo. We are gonna celebrate the 75 years. Israel has now 77 years, and the Jewish community in Mexico has 75. That means like exactly when people started coming to Israel, Jews came directly to Mexico. So I'm very proud to be like very, as I always present in my work, I'm very Mexican and I'm also very Jewish. And in my work, I present both of the things. I mix icons from both cultures because I feel very connected to both of them. That makes it very authentic. There's just a few Mexican Jews in the world. We're 40,000, but artists that are Mexican and Jewish and they're mixing in their work both of cultures are just a few. So I'm very proud of both of my cultures. And yes, people always tell me you cannot be Mexican and Jewish at the same time. Of course, it is possible. Being Jewish is my roots, but I'm very Mexican. If my family has been for more than 100 years in this country, I consider myself someone very Mexican. So it is possible to be Mexican and Jewish at the same time, yes.
Yes.
And I'm the one who's spreading that word and explain it because there's so many ideas and misunderstanding about what really means to be Jewish, and I'm marry both of them.
Yeah, beautiful. That's so true. That's so true. I mean, as Jewish people, we have lived in, almost every country in the world and almost every region, and Jews have gone everywhere, and to a large degree, we do. We take the culture of the local environment, and between food and music and dress, we definitely are strongly influenced by our surroundings. I always joke that if the town of Lubavitch was a little village in Ireland, we'd be singing Irish jigs out of Farbrengen. So yeah,
Exactly.
very much that we take on a local flavor. Um,
No, it's impressive how my four grandparents arrived on a boat. Of course, everyone had the idea to arrive to New York, but at some point the states closed their border. So they arrived to Mexico. Just picture, imagine it. They have no idea about the language. They have no idea about the culture. They have no idea about anything. But as Jewish people, we stay together, and that's nowadays many of the people of the Jewish community in Mexico are like leaders of big companies. People are in like the art industry, in the politics, like, and it's been all over the world. How as Jews we're stronger together. ביחד ננצח. That's why we're like always a family, and wherever we arrive, we partner and we thrive.
100%, 100%. And really what's beautiful, and there shouldn't be a question otherwise, but what's beautiful is that your grandparents after coming didn't say, well, we got here, but we wanted to go to New York. Now let's go to New York. They set up shop, and the rest of the community, they set up shop as well. And there's a power, there's a resilience that we have as Jewish people, is that yeah, we're in Galut. So Galut here, Galut there. It's a little shinier here. It's the whatever it is. But yeah, we grow roots, we get involved in society, and we take that energy, that's around us on the streets, the
Of
zeitgeist of it
course.
of the time, and then make it holy, make it into Jewish art.
And
So
always with respect. I feel that's something that we're not like arrive to a place and try to destroy everyone. We're like integrate with the culture, and leaders will lead. I always have this discussion with my dad. I would love to share with you, but he said that at some point all of the massacres of the Jews have been a good influence for us, because the strongest people have been the one that has been surviving,
mm,
and we've been like getting together, and the next generations. I always complain with that with my dad as on all the Shabbat dinners, but saying like how as Jews our resilience and our ability to like stay together and thrive, it's like I'm not gonna say like no one else, but it's someone like very very unique and special.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's a whole conversation to itself. Uh, whether all the pogroms were a good thing or not. And I kind of don't really want to go there right now. But yeah, but what you're saying is very true, is that we come to a society and we want to integrate to the society. At the same time, we're very much ourselves. We're definitely with the Jewish people. We don't assimilate completely and just become part of the culture. Unfortunately, throughout our history, there have been times where, Jewish people assimilate to the point that part of the community disappears. But to have both strong Jewish pride and to have a strong national pride, I think in America, American Jews are very proud to be American Jews. So there's no reason that it should be any different for Mexican Jews. Absolutely.
No, it is part of our roots, and it's important to embrace it.
Yeah, yeah. So tell me and tell the listeners, what's unique about Mexican art? What's in the water? What's in the ground? What's in the air in Mexico? How would you describe the current art scene and your place in current Mexican art?
I would describe it like colorful, colorful, joyful. In Mexico, you see all these like from the houses to the towns to the food. You see so many colors and joy, and like it's a lot of like a simcha. Like you see all these like things that people are celebrating the culture, and it's like very very important. And you see it everywhere in Mexico. It's like so vibrant and happy and joyful, and I feel very inspired by that, by those like roots.
By celebrating life. Yeah, I've spent a little bit of time in Tulum, and you can see that. And then even getting out of the tourist hotspots, there is a certain joie de vivre in America, where I'm located, and I spent a lot of time. I haven't grown up here, but there's so much emphasis on financial success, to some degree, to the detriment of many other areas of culture. But just to be able to enjoy life, um, as an end in itself, not to waste time, not to just, but that life has a joy. Life has, to do all mitzvot with joy, to live with joy and to live with excitement, is for sure.
Absolutely, and I feel like mixing being Jewish and being Mexican is what I like came as a result. My whole project, that as I always call it, it's called Joyful Jewish Art. because it's mixing who I am as a person, as an individual, as part of the community, as part of my family. It's a mix, and that's why I love so much the technique of collage, because collage is like grabbing things from one place and to other, and I'm like traveling and gathering stuff like from, I don't know, now that I was in the Kotel, like grabbing information from the Kotel and then mixing with something in Mexico. Like it's just like mixing many of the things that I've been like collecting during my years, and it's just like that's what collage is about. It's the mixture of cultures and mixture of realities, but at the same time something that is like marks a specific time and space in the world.
And as it's seen through your eyes, very much. It's your
Of course.
reflection on the world and how you see it, and so on. Yeah, for sure. So when did you first start creating? Is this something you've always been doing? Did your parents encourage this? Did your parents want you to be a doctor or a lawyer? Uh, what?
My parents are very creative. My parents were always involved in the Jewish community, bringing like art exhibitions for the whole schools, encouraging families to create, and like it's been always something very important in my family to like create and express. But as a very Jewish dad, my dad that is very creative, a designer, a whole creator. He didn't give me the option but to go to business school, and I was like, Dad, I want to do communications and I want to do design. He was like, No, you already know everything. I've been taking you to all these exhibitions. All you know more than anyone that is gonna be in your class. You need to go to business school. So I went to business school, and I graduated from business school, even it was so hard for me. But during business school, I started like just in my free times or even in the class of like mathematics or accounting, I started making art. I started doing digital art. Why? Because I just felt called to start expressing. And I remember my dad gave me an old projector, a Beamer, and then I started like doing projection mapping into Loom actually, and like
Oh,
start
wow.
filming stuff and then mixing it like one image on the top of the other. Like I've been always very influenced by the mixture of things. So I started doing all these videos and like filming people and mixing one another. Like I remember filming my friends cooking for Shabbat, making the halal, and like with that making visuals, and like it's been something always very important in my practice to like capture what's around me and put it together, make this mixture. So then from the video, it's very strange, but from the video that I was completely digital and technological, I, I after traveling for so many countries, they started inviting me to do projection mapping in Europe and in New York and in Costa Rica and Mexico. And every time I was traveling with my bag full of projectors and cables and my computer, and I remember once in Berlin it started raining and almost everything got off. I was like, no, it's so difficult to be traveling with all this technology. I discovered fruits, and I had my aha moment. We were after the morning and we had all these fruits, and I was like, let's let's honor the fruits. Let's do an exercise with the fruits. And everyone just started like connecting with the fruit in such a unique way that I discovered the power of the fruits. And I was like, wow, I think I can make art with fruits. I don't need cables. I don't need an extension. I don't need a power cord. I don't need my computer. It can rain. It can do anything.
Right.
So I
Right.
start following that path from being completely technological to focus completely in something organic and natural. And then I started finding all these meanings and finding all this meaning in the Judaism, and started meaning like how we have Sukkot and how we have Tu B'Shvat and how we have Shavuot, and like finding like how important fruit and nature is for our culture. So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
started like being a whole process, but everything just by being open of what was like calling my intuition. So it's been a very like complete path and way to get where I'm right now.
Amazing. Amazing. Yeah. So many questions, but do you still do projection mapping, or you put that to the side completely?
I do, but
You do do.
I'm
Okay.
now more into like the analog way. I started like using
Right.
scissors and cutting and making like it's been as an artist something that I found difficult is to make art that is not very tangible. Some art that people cannot like put on their walls. Even if I've
Right,
been in
right,
NFTs and mapping and experiences and
right.
everything, I've been focusing lately more on like the
Physical
physical
objects.
thing. That
Yeah.
exactly.
No, part of why I ask is in my early days, really my first love within the creative sphere is was photography. And then
Wow.
photography, before the age of before digital, film photography, and where every time you press the shutter, there was a value to that click, and you had to like really
Yes.
think about it. And but then as digital came along, and from there it evolved to silkscreen into painting, and I realized that I couldn't do both painting and photography. It was like my creative brain couldn't do both for some reason. As I was, discovering this new world of painting. Today, I'm not limited by any medium inside. It's about the ideas and developing ideas. But yeah, that idea of just being able to carry both and to do both at the same time. Um, but fruit is, yeah, it's organic. It's God's blessings. The way I understand through Chassidut is that everything, we're here to survive. We're here to survive and to grow. And so many plants, so many things have like thorns and you know defense mechanisms. Animals all have defense mechanisms, how to protect themselves, a porcupine and so on. And fruit is a gift from God. It's an anomaly to all of that. And they're bright, they're colorful, and they taste wonderful. And they say to the world, eat me, come, take me, eat me, for the purpose of taking the seeds and depositing them somewhere, that, going through an animal or person system, and then putting them out somewhere else in the world. So yeah, fruits have a very unique place in, even within, organic, matter. That also that bread, bread is food. Bread is the serious stuff. Bread is sustenance, wheat and barley and all that. But fruit, technically, you don't make hamotzi on fruit. You don't make a blessing on fruit. You don't kovea suda on fruit. It's the extras, and that's what makes life
Yes.
exciting. And that's really, that's art, to a large degree. If I can draw that parallel,
Of
that
course, no.
art
I mean, like,
isn't.
exactly limited to a certain medium. Yeah, when I started like finding all this connection between like the Bore Priyaet and Bore Priyadama and like all these things, and it's been like so transformative for me to see like fruits are globally, but then I started doing my research on Mexican fruits. So I started all this actually in Tulum, in all the region of Yucatan and Quintana Roo. I started learning about the ancient Mayan culture, about which ones were the Mayan fruits. And then I found that there were three native Mayan fruits: the mamey, the chico zapote, and a fruit that really impressed me, which was the papaya. And I was like, I had no idea that papaya is a Mexican fruit. And I asked people, and they're like, yeah, papaya is a native fruit from Mexico. And that's how I started all this project of giving a voice to the Mexican fruits, to the native Mexican fruits. And I started like experimenting with the papaya and like sharing it, and that's how like my project from all the fruits focus more on the papaya, because it's a native fruit from Mexico. It's an icon from my country. So then I started finding all this meaning in why the papaya is so important for Yaldut, for Judaism. And I found like how the resilience papaya is known for the fruit tree that can grow in any circumstance. And exactly as we were explaining how Jews in the diaspora, wherever we have been spread, we thrive and grow and connect, that's what papaya has. It's very resilient, it's very adaptive, it grows everywhere. So that's how my whole journey with the papaya started, to speak about resilience and to speak about tradition and to speak about staying together. So it's been finding a lot of meaning in the simplest things. And nowadays it's crazy. Like almost every single day of my life, I receive a message from people saying, I went to the supermarket, I saw a papaya, and it made me think about you. And you know how difficult it is for that to happen, because like I'm like basically appropriating, artistically appropriating from something that is natural from mother for nature. So I'm
Right.
like using that concept to create an identity, and now I'm been fighting so much on promoting and making all this media to make the papaya the Jewish fruit.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I have you saved in my contacts as Alejandro Papaya
Exactly.
because that's yeah, exactly. So that's that's powerful that the papaya is yeah has that kind of resilience and that parallel to the Jewish people. Talking about fruit, there's my favorite blessing, really my favorite blessing that we only get to make once a year. And I actually got to make it on a papaya tree in Tulum. And
Yes.
it's the blessing on the fruit tree, on a flowering tree. And the bracha is amazing. And it's Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam, Shabara ilanot tovot, obriot tovot, that God created beautiful creations and beautiful trees. And then it says why did God create it? And, oh, v'lo chisa be'elamo klum, and there's nothing lacking in God's world. God created a beautiful world, and everything's in it. His world is complete, and His world is beautiful. And the Chachamim who gave us this bracha, who gave us this, and really the purpose of the bracha is for us to remember, to remind, to mark this, for us to recognize. And the end of the bracha, which blows me away, is lahanat behemet abriot, for us to appreciate, for us to have hana, have joy, have benefit from the fruit itself. That it's not just utilitarian. As we said earlier, wheat. Wheat. You need wheat in order to have a meal, in order to survive. That fruit
Yeah.
isn't survival, but it's on top of survival. It's even greater than that. Hana, joy, benefit, and to be able to have that. So yeah, you're bringing joy to so many people through your art, through this simple papaya. It's amazing.
Thank you. I'm constantly hosting this called Papaya Shabbats, where are like Shabbat experiences where we like share fruit and speak about each of them, and like give give space to all this, as you say, the gift of Hashem for the fruits.
Yeah.
So it's very special, and I feel my project is just taking off, even if I've been in many galleries, museums, and exhibitions around the world. I'm still always like questioning myself, why do I do what I do, and what's next, and how I'm gonna make it bigger. And yeah, it's a very special thing to do.
Yeah, for sure. How do you balance that, if I can ask? This is more for me. Maybe there are others out there who have the same question because I tend to bounce from idea to idea, from concept. The concepts are the same, but like to stick with something for so long, to stick with the papaya, in spite of all the other ideas that I'm sure you have. Um, how do you manage? How do you manage to stick to it, or how do you do
I
that?
feel no, I've been evolving a lot with one single concept. So I started with the fruit, and then with the these ones that you see, like which are like the mirrors, golden. That I want to tell now the story about the Beit Hamikdash, but like it's been one simple concept, and doing it all over again. I'm about changing the materials and changing the size and changing the texture and changing the significance and changing the season. And I'm doing a special connection. I did one for Rosh Hashanah, and now I'm doing one for the next one for Tu B'Shvat, and the next one for Yom Ha'atzmaut. Like I like go through seasons, and if Judaism has been for so many years doing the same things, I feel I'm just taking one concept and I say, okay, I found the papayas like super known. I'm sticking with that, and from that, just like going with variations around it. But
Right.
yeah, it's a lot of discipline, of course. Of course, many days I'm like, what am I doing with the papaya? I should change and just like be someone different. But then I remember when I go out on the streets and someone told me, you're the guy of the papayas. yes, it's me. So that like really
Right.
motivates me to like keep going. And for example, in Art Basel in Miami, that I've been going for the last 4 years, people, if I go with something new, I feel people wouldn't like recognize who I am and what's my project about.
Right.
So
Right.
it's
Right.
been, yeah, it's consistency is key.
Consistency is key. I like that. But within that consistency, there's room to to grow, to evolve, and to yeah keep reinventing the same thing from different angles. For sure.
Absolutely. I want to tell very quick the story that I really want to
Yes.
share. So when I was in Baretz in Israel, like 3 years ago, I decided to move, and I heard it with one of the Rabbi Peretz. He started telling me this story that in the Beit HaMikdash, the Kohanim used to have golden trees, and from these golden trees, they were having golden fruits, and these golden fruits, they were using them to lay parnes, to sell them and to make their parnasa, their shefa. And I was like, golden fruits, I need to make a golden papaya. And that's again coming back to my dad, that is like a industrial designer. He knows how to manage everything in material. I was like, that we need to find a way to make golden papayas. And a few months later of experimenting, we got these pieces, which are like a papaya with a birkata bite inside that has like made of gold and explains like the significance. And I don't know, I really incorporate in many of my works different brachot, or for example this one is a birkat bite that is for the home, that says about shefa, the abundance, the or, the light, the simcha, the celebration, the shalom, the peace, the shalva, the tranquility, the briut, the health, the ava, the love. And it speaks about like how to manifest something in your life,
Right.
to
Yeah.
have it inside of a papaya, because it's called the papaya portals, all this
Right.
movement and
Right.
this project that I started. So it's like how the papaya portal can take you to really
The different
go to
spaces.
that. Exactly.
Yeah.
Through art. And I
Beautiful.
feel that's the most beautiful thing about art, like to have it in a place where it like creates a whole setting, creates a whole
Right.
vibe around where is it. Might be a home, an office, a museum, whatever, but like with my art, with my joyful Jewish art, I create, I bring that light.
Amazing. Amazing. So Alejandro, this is you before October 7th. And then,
Yes.
like all of us, everything changed. So where were you October 7th, and how did October 7th and really October 8th, the aftermath, how did that affect you and your work, and what are you up to now?
Yes, I actually decided to move to Tel Aviv and Jerusalem on the summer of 2023. So I opened a gallery in Florentine, started doing different shows. Things started going very well. You know, it's very hard to make it in the Arets. As a rabbi the other day was saying that the Israel is so expensive because it's the cost of living with your family, and it's like everything is harder in there.
Yep. Yeah.
So I was making it with a lot of effort, but like making a lot of connections, a lot of friends and shows and that. And I actually had the opening of my exhibition in Tel Aviv, in the temple in Jaffa, on October 6th on the morning. And it
Oh,
was
wow. Okay.
exactly when we were having Simchat Torah.
Right.
So I had the event, everything went well. I went to sleep in Florentine with my friend Luis Segal. We wake up and all the alarms are sounding, and it's like, what's going on? What's going on? And like the city was completely empty, and there was something very, very strange feeling in that moment. Very, very, very strange. And I have friends that invited me to go to the Nova Festival. Actually, I had people that I knew, people like in the kibbutz, Be'eri, etc. And like it really, 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 I was like so scared, like never in my life. I experienced what fear was really with the
Right.
word.
Right.
just like knowing that people were saying that it's been attacks rockets, but at the same time people entering the people's homes and no one was clear on what was really going on. So I went running to my best friend's house, who Gabriel, who was living there for 3 years, and he was like, relax, stay in my house, let's lock the doors. And then we had like another 3 alarms, and like the neighbors came to the miklat together. It was like, I can say it was very traumatic day for me, very
Yeah,
very
yeah,
traumatic.
yeah.
And I didn't know what to do about it, so I decided to make art. I decided to just start gathering everything that I had in my resources and start making. I did this collection about the art in war with my best friend, and it was about like really expressing what we were going on for the next 3 4 days. And as you know, all the flights were cancelled. It was impossible to leave the country or to arrive to the country. All my family were panicking. They were like, come to Mexico City. And I was like, no, I want to help. I want to support. They were like, we don't care. They found a flight for me. And I
I
came
want you
back
home.
as every Jewish parents in the world. I remember that moment coming back to my house, and it was like, and I remember I made a poem, and I said I had no idea how does it feel to be a soldier in the army in the Tzahal, but
Right.
I experienced what was to come back to my parents' home after being in the war, and just like hugging my parents and saying like, wow, I feel so lucky to have you and to be here. And so I really had a lot of things moving on inside of me, and I started like, couldn't just like handle it to myself. So I decided to make a whole movement of Jewish artists together, and I did my first event in Mexico City to like put artists together to express, to speak. I read them all the poems that I was writing while I was like locked in my best friend's house in Tel Aviv, and I started like promoting Jewish art, building community. We did an auction, we raised funds, we donate an ambulance for Magen David Adom. Then they invited me to make something in Miami. Then I went to LA. Then I went to New York. Then I went to Costa Rica. Then I went to Brazil. I started like gathering. I said, "There's our time is now. If we
Yeah.
don't do this now, no one is gonna do it. We need to unite." And I said, "It's more important than ever. Let's just be together because we need it."
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
remember when I started that movement and I started posting on social media, the response of all my followers was so amazing. Everyone was like calling and checking on me, like, "How are you doing? I know you were in Israel. I hope you're safe." I felt so supported by my,
Right.
of course, Jewish, but also my Goy friends. I felt so supported.
Right.
And as time started going by, I feel those exactly same people that were checking on me, saying, "I know you were on the war. I know you were like on this whole situation. I'm so sorry for it. What's happening to you and all your people." Those same people are the ones that right now I'm sending me messages saying me, "You are a Zionist. You are part of the genocide." And I was like, "You are my friend and you know who I am, and like your perspective changed in 1 year. Like I'm the same person. I'm standing with the same values." So it's been
Right.
so strange, frustrating, dramatic, and weird to see these same people that were
Right.
supporting me now hating me. But you can understand the level of hate that I'm receiving. Like, I had an exhibition 2 weeks ago, and I had people standing outside with like signs saying my name, saying Alejandro Glatt is is the genocide, and saying people that I'm the responsible for the genocide. And I was like, and I'm receiving all these comments every day on my social media of people attacking me. And
Right.
it's been so sad, and I feel we're experiencing something that in many years we haven't experienced as Jewish. But all these people say that they're not anti-Semitic, they're anti-Zionist, and like
Right.
they're using the term Zionist as someone that is like a, they're comparing with being Nazi. They're saying
Right.
genocide, like Zionists are Nazi, and I'm like trying to explain. Like, let's go back in time. Like, whoa, 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 what are you
Right.
even talking about? Like, we've been persecuting for 3,000 years, and it got decided to have a Jewish state. And after having the Jewish state, we created what we created now, with so
Right.
much effort, with so much, like, it hasn't been easy for us, and people only see the success. But as we started this whole
Right.
conversation, how the resilience and arriving to a country where we don't know anything and we don't know the language, and it's been a process. But now, being now the third generation in Mexico and sharing that I'm proud Jewish, I'm proud Zionist, I'm getting so many hate and so many attacks.
Right.
I had an exhibition today and yesterday in Monterrey, a city in the north of Mexico, that it was booked 4 months ago with a very important gallery. And I started receiving messages of people saying boycott, Zionist artist, Zionist exhibition coming to Monterrey, boycott, boycott, boycott. And the gallery called me and they were like, we're so sorry, but we can't handle to have you because there's gonna be a lot of people making threats.
Right.
Even they said like if they were doing the exhibition, they were trading of many things. So
Right.
Thursday in Mexico City, I had already, I'm super busy always like planning my schedule, and we had a Yom Ha'atzmaut celebration with all the organization of young Mexican Jews.
Right.
And in the venue that they announced it was going to be the whole thing, I'm also a DJ in many things that I do. I'm also like DJ, so I was putting the music. The venue received a bomb threat. They said,
Uh,
if you do this event supporting the Jews, we're a bomb threat. So it ended up being like super secretly in another spot, like with a lot of bitachon and security. But like we're living times right now that in my 30 years of life I never experienced before. I also never experienced having my flag so high and being so proud, but I'm getting all this attack, and I feel a lot of fear, but at the same time a lot of doors are opening to me because
right.
as Jews we're supporting each other, and but at the same time like the hate. So I don't know. Many people say like, you know what? I had a meeting with someone in Bitajon, and they were like, stop posting about Israel things, about Jewish things, shut down,
Right.
and you're gonna be safe. And I'm like, sorry, but no,
Right.
I'm not
That's not
gonna
how
do
we do
that.
it. Right.
That's not how we do it. And tomorrow I have a meeting because they invite me to make the whole branding and the identity of the Jewish Film Festival in Mexico.
Oh
So
wow.
like
Nice.
I went. They invited me to the Israel embassy on Friday morning to do this celebration of Yom Ha'atzmaut, and so many people came to me and say, "I
Wow.
respect what you're doing. You're doing amazing. Like," and I was tearing like in like tearing joy, just like crying, saying like, "Wow." All the hate that I'm receiving of people that I don't even know who are them, but just like listening how people feel that I'm fighting for this and I'm standing strong and I'm doing trips to Israel for Jewish artists. Now in July I have my third trip. Like I'm like just like pushing and having my flag and saying like attack me, but I'm exhibiting my art in the biggest museums of the world. I'm like saying like I don't know, it's just something to demonstrate that we can, and if we shut down and just like put our heads down, they're gonna destroy us. And I feel it's my responsibility. I'm taking this responsibility to say yes, I'm Jewish, yes, I'm Zionist, yes, I believe on a Jewish state, and let's make it happen. Let's unite and let's be stronger than ever.
Yeah. Yeah. Incredible. You really are such a force, a power, and you're operating on, so many things going on at once, and pushing forward, and not thinking, worrying about, how it's about doing good and spreading light. And what you said earlier, the conversation you had with your father about all the negative of the pogroms, and whether or not it's a good thing. But in science, it says, you can't put in more energy to pick something up than the amount of energy it takes to pick it up. So you need resistance. We lift weights, we lift resistance, and so on, and training, and we didn't ask for this, but this is bringing the Jewish people together so much stronger. And as we've seen, it really is just a few loud voices. It's not the whole world. It really isn't the whole world. But it doesn't make it any easier, and it doesn't make the hate any less. But yeah, because they're there, it gives us the power to fight stronger, and to stand up for each other, and to celebrate each other. And you're leading the charge, and I'm so grateful to be able to see what you're doing, and to follow along, and to do it in my way. I feel like, I don't know, I'm in my little corner, doing my thing. Thank God I don't get a lot of hate. Um, I'm just a Jewish artist, proudly wearing my yarmulke, my tzitzis, never not wearing it because, or covering it because I'm scared or worried, and sharing. I'm a proud Jew doing my thing and sharing my light, and that's what we got to do. That's our job. That's our role, is to share light in this dark world.
Absolutely. I feel every single artist that just puts something in Hebrew, it's a, a sign of resistance, a sign of saying we're here, we're
Right.
strong, and we're like taking care of everything that is going on. So I would love to share this story, speaking about
Please.
hiding or not hiding, in Art Basel 2023, or 2 years ago. I exactly when the things were like so hot and in Miami and like everywhere in the world, but like I always put Art Basel in Miami as like my check mark on life. So I had this whole collection and I wanted to make Jewish art. And as I said with my dad, we're partners in this project, and I said I want to present a Jewish art piece. And he's like, no, 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 it's not a good moment. Don't put Jewish art. And I said it was a piece of the Shema Israel on a golden papaya with the Shema Israel with SpongeBob SquarePants on it, pointing the word Adonai, because it's like I this whole story when I had my bar mitzvah, that the finger where I was reading the Torah remind me a lot of the hand of SpongeBob. So that's why I made this whole connection of like the Shema Israel and SpongeBob. And my dad was like, you know what? Let's be careful. It's gonna be in a public space in a hotel in Miami. Like, don't put it now. I was like, let's try. Let's do one piece and see
Right.
what happens. And you know which one was the first piece of the 50 papayas that we sold? The SpongeBob. By a Jewish couple that they were like, we love what you're doing, we're Jewish, we want to support Jewish artists. And it started to become something that just by having something in Hebrew, it started being a conversation starter. Just
Right.
by like showing that I'm Jewish without putting like a huge flag or a huge Magen David, just by putting something that we only understand, we started creating all these conversations. And that's how
Right.
you know what happened on the next Art Basel 2024, last December, all our booth was Jewish art, that you were there.
Nice.
We
Yes.
had
Yes.
we had the mezuzot, we had the papayas with saying Oy vey, a gute Nacht, we had like all the different maps, we had the brachot. Everything was focused
Right.
on Jewish art. And we received thousands of Jews just coming to share and say, wow, thank you for
Yes.
doing this.
Yeah.
People were feeling home because it was in the whole art fair. People were coming to say like, thank you for doing what you're doing,
Right.
because you're very bold of doing this. You're taking a step on it. Thank you. So I learned a lot. I learned a lot the importance of like really being out there, standing out, showing and saying I'm Jewish, I'm proud, and here I am. If you have any questions, please come ask me anything, but we need to do it. I'm taking a very, it's a risk, it's a responsibility, and it's also a very big mitzvah.
Amen. 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 Alejandro, it's awesome. It's inspiring. It's awesome. And you're leading the charge. And fellow Jewish artists, we can do this. Everyone, we have to share our light. We have to share our unique light. Yeah, Hebrew letters, whatever it is, whatever we're doing to express our Jewish soul and to put proud Jewish light into the world, Jewish art into the world is that's our mission. That's our calling. As you said right now, that's our calling. That's what we need to do.
Amazing. No, I'm very, really happy to be in your show, and it's an honor. I've listening and I learned about so many artists that were all of us with the same mission. And yeah, I'm very, very happy. I have a very important show coming up in Jerusalem in the Biennale Gallery with Rami
Beautiful.
on July 24 is my opening of my show on I think is one of the most important galleries of all Jerusalem in Jaffa Street, where I'm like very, very proud. I'm preparing this whole collection and exhibition, and Bezrat Hashem in 2026 as part of the Jerusalem Biennale, where it's like the biggest event for Jewish artists to come together. So yes, a lot of things are going on, and I really learned this. Like for every door that closes, many other doors open. So it's
Yeah.
super
Yeah.
important to stay true, to believe in what we're doing, to honor what we're doing, understand the power of what we do, and keep pushing and keep believing in Am Israel High.
Amen. Amen. So yes, part of this podcast is to discover new Jewish art, new Jewish artists. So two questions for you. Question number one is give us some names, give us some artists that you connect with, that you were inspired by, other Jewish artists who are sharing their light that we should know about.
Phew, wow, biggest reference I Steve Marcus, which is doing this concept of kosher pop of like Jewish skateboard and the words in Yiddish. I love what he's doing, very special one. In terms of music, Natal, Israeli American singer that is doing many things to bring peace in the world. The Schwesters that I told you we should sing like a cappella Yiddish songs, very important. Orly Anan, Colombian Israeli, very tropical, that has this all things about speaking in Hebrew and mixing like very like colorful things with like Jewish meanings. Who else? Tyler Goldflower, big inspiration. She also like mixes many different mediums and brings together like all cultures. Pil Peled, Israeli artist, very good friend who is killing it all over the
Wow.
world, making huge shows with like his whole very important trademark black and white textures. Benzi, who's a very good friend. I don't know if you know him. I had my last show in New York. He opened a gallery called Time to Be Happy in Soho,
Ah,
which
no.
we had a show together. Also bring like joy. There's many talent, but we
Yeah,
need
well,
to
Alejandro,
connect.
you know that you shared a lot of names, but you're gonna have to share with me all of their Instagram
Of
handles,
course.
and then we'll put them in the show notes so everyone can find and connect and see the beautiful work and encourage each other. Thank you.
Amazing, and inviting everyone to join this collective of artists that we're both part called Art World for Israel,
Yes.
where we're having like all these different projects together. We had our booth in Art Basel in Miami. Now it's the third trip that I organized to Israel. It's gonna be July 7th to the 20th as part of the Maccabia. So if every artist out there want to come and join us and understand the value of being a Jewish artist in 2025 and what is so important about today and about us, inviting all them to
Exactly.
join and be part of these very special times that we're living.
Amazing. Yeah, we're gonna link to that also to the invitation to join your trip for all the artists out there who can do it. So my last question, Alejandro, is what is your advice for young creatives for them to find their orange socks?
Young creative to fans their own socks, believe, and decide what you want to do, stick to it, and do it all over and over and over and over and over and over again. No matter what happens, stay true to one thing, pick a concept, and follow it. In the future, you can, as I said with the papaya, from the materials, the texture, the mediums, but pick a concept and make it iconic. I will choose that. Be known, like if they think about you, they think about whatever it is.
Okay.
Make it iconic.
Right, and unique to you. All right, Alejandro, thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you again in person, maybe in Yerushalayim, maybe in Miami for Art Basel. We'll see. I'm sure our paths will cross again soon.
We will. Right. Thank you so much. Very big fan of the podcast and such an honor to be featured.
Thank you, and lehitraot. To be continued. Bye.
היום נעשה משהו בלתי נשכח